everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Living Lives. And today I'm going to be joined by my friend Chris, but he's a little bit, he's having trouble getting into the stream right now. So we're going to talk for a little bit while he works on that on his end. And I'm just excited that you came back to watch another episode. It's fun to put this all together, and it's been a challenge. And here comes Chris now. So I want to welcome Chris Panzica. He's a New York City-based psychotherapist. He's certified Gestalt therapist, and he also completed the contemplative psychotherapy program at the Nalanda Institute. He's very interested in the intersection of Western psychology and Buddhist psychology and meditative practices. So let me welcome Chris to the stream.
Hey Wayne.
Thanks for joining me. I know we had a little bit of connectivity problems there, but just I'll know to warn people next time about making sure they have Google Chrome on their computers. So.
It downloaded quickly, fortunately.
Well, that's good. That's good. So, so I wanted to, just so people know about us, we've met up at Easton Mountain, and we've met in person as well as we've also both done virtual events there. So, and one of the last things that I saw Chris lead was a little bit of a meditation workshop at a virtual event. And unfortunately, when we've both been there, our workshops had been opposite each other, so we couldn't attend each other's workshops. But so tell me a little bit about, I'm interested in the, where you say that your intersection of Western psychology and Buddhist psychology. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, therapy, the biggest commonality I would say is that when someone comes to therapy, they're working on, they're working on themselves. They're working on changing something that's causing them to feel dissatisfied, or or a way that they're suffering in some way. And basically, there's a huge overlap with Buddhism around looking at suffering and the causes of suffering and the solution to suffering. So there's on the one hand, working with a therapist, and then on the other hand, working on yourself with meditation. And which is not to say that meditation isn't also done in a group setting, because
Of course
it is, both are really important, good options. But really, therapy, working on suffering, and Buddhism and mindfulness meditation, also a way to work on suffering.
Okay. I know personally, I've enjoyed both types of meditation, in a group as well as individual. And there's so many different types of individual meditation, whether it's a mindfulness type of meditation or whether it's something that is, guided meditation. And even if you look at individual guided meditations that you can get through something like Insight Timer, which is a free app to use, you can do them silent. You can do them with music in the background. There's all sorts of different types, and prayer is a type of meditation too for people who want to go that route as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
and there's mindfulness practices, and there are also compassion practices.
Mm-hmm.
You're actually developing, you're even more focused on working on your relationship with yourself, and possibly a mentor. There are meditations where you're imagining a mentor and thinking about your relationship with them. And part of doing meditation in a group is the community aspect to it. And
yeah.
With a teacher around sharing that wisdom, learning from someone else. We learn from each other.
Yes. And, you mentioned one of my favorite words there a second ago, and that's connection. That's what I'm all about, is different connections that we have with each other and that we also have with ourselves, and meditating in a group can help build those connections with the group and with the teacher, with the mentor. And meditating on your own can also help build that connection with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really a lot of different ways and times to use the different tools that are all grouped under meditation. You know, there's so many different things that you can mean when you say, I'm going to go meditate. So I think it's a fantastic tool to put in our arsenal just to help out with our lives.
Sorry about this. Background.
They're not going to take you away, are they?
I just looked at the mute button. Yeah, and actually, I was thinking about how meditation does help us connect to ourselves, and it's really a way that we're working on our relationship with ourselves. Mm-hmm. When we do a mindfulness meditation, like a breath meditation, we're practicing noticing without judgment, and so we're exercising a new muscle, really, because we can get so caught up with judging ourselves and evaluating, and so it's a practice of awareness without non-judgmental awareness, really.
Yeah, and that I know for me and for others is a lot of sometimes is very hard to not judge ourselves. Mm-hmm. We're very hypercritical. We're hypercritical of others, but also of ourselves. And when we do that, we can shut down the processes that we need to, and anything to help us be less judgmental can be very beneficial to where we're going with our lives and where we're going with, with our connection with other people.
Yeah, 100%. And just thinking about, I work as a therapist, so much self-critical thoughts, self-judgment can be really damaging, can really, really affect our mental health. So it's important to really notice the way you speak to yourself, to notice how you tear yourself down. And meditation is a great way of becoming more aware.
Those thoughts run through our heads, all that story. We tell ourselves that story and we don't even realize it's running. That's right. It's playing. And a lot of times we need to change that story so that we can grow in anything we're doing, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Would you be willing to take us through a short meditation here?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So for just a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. So I was thinking to do a breath meditation.
Okay.
Okay. And okay. So I'll just dive right into that. So find a comfortable seated position, and yeah, you can close your eyes. And see if you can allow your awareness to drop into your body. Just notice the seat under you. See if you can feel supported by the seat, by the ground, and give yourself permission to let go of whatever came before or whatever's coming next. And let's take a few deep breaths. So I would recommend, there's so many different options, but let's breathe in through the nose, gently hold, and then a full deep exhale through the mouth with a sigh. So I'll do that myself too. And if you can extend the exhale, then you're going to help yourself to calm down. It's coming for our nervous system to have a longer exhale. So one more deep breath. Inhale, briefly hold, and a long exhale. Okay. And then you just let your breath return to its natural rhythm, and see if you can notice where you feel the breath most clearly. It might be at your nostrils or in your chest or abdomen. So you just find that place where you feel the sensation, and just rest there. See if you can just rest on the feeling. You can make a mental notation like in, out, or rising, falling, but just stay with the feeling of the breath. And of course, distractions will arise, and you just want to practice returning. So let's take some time to just feel the sensation, notice distraction, and return. As soon as you notice distraction, you just want to let go and return back to wherever you sense the breath. It's a simple rhythm of just letting go of distraction and returning to the focus, the breath. That's the muscle that we're exercising. And that's going to build our capacity to be present. So let's just take a few more moments, noticing that sensation. See if you can feel some comfort in the breath. It's always with us. You can always go back to noticing that feeling, that sensation. Okay, and so let's slowly return. Notice the cushion under you. You can open your eyes. Okay.
Thanks. That was for me. That was very refreshing, actually. And I think it's important to note that you mentioned we always have the breath with us, and we can do this anytime. It can be in the car. It can be before we go in for a meeting. It could be before we take a test if we're in school, or before we study to calm down, or after a long day work, we're all stressed out, before we go in to the family to calm down, to bring us back to a connection with ourselves, so we don't bring all that other negative energy with us. So it's a very simple, and breath work is important in that, and it's and like you said, it's always with us, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and it could be the difference between reacting in a way that we don't like, or taking a moment, being with ourselves, and then in that pause choosing how we want to respond to something.
Right. And it's always, even just in a very short, if you do just a couple deep breaths, if you're in a conversation with somebody and you have that same issue, if something's you feel you're getting upset about something, just stop and take a couple of deep breaths, and then it gives you that pause that lets you change or choose how you want to respond. And we all have the choice, and it's great to have these tools that we can use to connect with ourselves and to further not damage other connections by reacting too soon or something like that. So and I know I happen to have essential oils here in my diffuser, and I know you use them as well. And the one I chose today, I know is one of your favorites. It's Balance. So I have that going in my diffuser, and essential oils are a great way of helping us center too, because they bring in another sense, which helps us and can act as an anchor. So we can use the oils to, when we get to this place, to use them as an anchor, so that when we aren't in the place, we can use the smell of the oil as the anchor to bring us back as well. So they're another great tool to be used along with meditation. And there's some great oils for that. Balance is one of them, but so is frankincense is one. That's used a lot. In a lot of this time of year in particular, being Easter coming up this week for those of Christian faiths, they'll be smelling a lot of frankincense at the services, and it's used by a lot of different cultures, not just the Christian culture. It was brought, it's one of the gifts of the Magi in the Bible, so we know it's used by other cultures as well. The Egyptians used it a lot, and a lot of other oils can be used as well, which is kind of cool. So it's anything else you want to say about meditation?
No, but I love frankincense and Balance. It does do something. So I like, actually, as an anchor. I like that's a helpful way to think about it. Yeah.
And I teach a couple classes occasionally at the college across the street in Danbury here, and we talk about using the oils as an anchor when you're studying, because your sense of smell is, you smell oregano. If you're Italian, you might think of grandma's kitchen and the big pot of sauce on the stove. Unfortunately, they have a negative effect as well, whereas someone who's been any sort of veterans, if they smell sulfur, can have, it'll bring back trigger memories along those lines as well. So it's definitely something that we can use as another tool. And with the students, I say, if you study with a particular oil, put a drop of the oil on your collar when you take the test, and it's going to help you bring back the memories from the studying as well. So it's
yeah, nice. I guess I would just say one other thing about meditation is that it's a practice, and I know I often hear people say, like, "Oh, I can't clear my mind," or it's too hard for me. Just to remember that it's a practice, and that slowly over time we build our ability to pay attention, and so it's an exercise.
Yeah. And it's and sometimes, I know I meditate every morning as part of my morning routine, and sometimes I can drop in, and I typically just use a partially guided one where it's just started, kind of like you did, kind of started and then finished with some music in the background. And sometimes I'm there the whole time, and sometimes I can't get there at all. And I've been doing this for, well over a year now, and I just have to remember that today's not the day, and keep going back to letting it go and centering on the breath, and letting it go and centering on the breath. And I find more and more that has helped me to connect to myself, and I remember that meditation further into the day. And I work with a friend of mine is a Reiki practitioner, and after I started meditating and we did a Reiki session together, she said to me, "You've been meditating." I said, yes, I have. But, it does come through to other parts of your life as well. So it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for joining me this morning. This has been a great time, and hopefully the people that are watching this will get have some nice tools that they can use now, or a simple tool that they can use to help center themselves and connect more to themselves. And that connection, once we're connected to ourselves, makes it easier to connect to other people. So thank you for joining me.
Thanks.
And I just want to mention to everybody that next week I'm having an interview with Dixie Longate, who is America's favorite Tupperware lady. And she's not your grandma's Tupperware party, that's for sure. It'll definitely be a completely different type of connection. But now I just invite you all to go out, make some connections, and live your lives. Live your best life. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah.